those of you that collect Doctor Who merchandise, you will of course know that the year 2018 was filled with many cross-Doctor Who fans angrily running around the country trying to find many Doctor Who Big Finish vinyl record releases in stores such as Sainsbury's and HMV. Well, for the past few months it has of course been incredibly quiet, as we have not seen any Doctor Who Big Finish vinyl releases come out. However, that silence was of course broken recently as Big Finish decided to release yet another Doctor Who limited edition vinyl, the first of 2019, as today I'll be taking a look at The Creeping Death as written by Roy Gill. Now this is in fact a record release that is limited edition to 1,000 units and is exclusive to select ASDA stores throughout the UK, and is in fact a limited edition green heavyweight vinyl. Now this is in fact exclusive to select ASDA stores, meaning that it will not be available from every ASDA store throughout the UK. It will in fact only be available from certain stores that already stock vinyls, and I did in fact discover that I think there is only around 70 of these throughout the UK, something around that, a very small number, meaning that this release was in fact quite difficult for a lot of people to find, and it meant that my dad, bless him, had to go on a 2-hour round journey needing to find this vinyl for me because I couldn't do it as I was sat literally within an exam hall stressing my head out. So yeah, thanks Big Finish. I guess the Big Finish vinyl hunt is back on for another year. Now of course I am aware that recently I have been doing many exams, meaning that a lot of reviews, mainly Big Finish reviews, have in fact been delayed, and recently I have of course been taking a look at the 10th Doctor Volume 3 Adventures, where I have of course been reviewing No Place, 1 Mile Down, as well as The Creeping Death. So I have already done full episode reviews of those stories, so if you haven't checked those out already, I highly recommend doing so to get in-depth reviews of each single release, meaning that I have in fact already reviewed The Creeping Death as an actual story, and this review is going to be a little bit different, where I am solely talking about the actual vinyl products and basically what you get for your money, and that is exactly where I'm going to start off this review, by taking a look at the product itself. So taking a closer look at the Creeping Death vinyl itself, if you are somebody who has collected the previous Big Finish vinyls that were released in 2018, then you will know exactly what to expect from this product, because the layout is pretty much exactly the same. So at the very top you of course get the BBC logo, along with the Series 11 13th Doctor logo just below this, of course in the orange and yellow typeface, and then it does of course state that this is a full cast audio drama starring David Tennant and Catherine Tate, and then of course at the very bottom we do get the Creeping Death as written by Roy Gill, and then of course a very small Big Finish logo there at the very bottom. Now the actual cover itself and the art is pretty much identical to that of the standard CD release, which I do believe is in fact a rather unique thing, because the other releases from this Big Finish series have in fact been slightly altered, a few readjustments to the images here and there, just to make it suit the size of a vinyl cover a little bit more. Has in fact been this rather nice green bright brush stroke that's been added around the sides just to make it look a little bit more vibrant, but overall this is really lovely. Once again I think that this has been designed by Tom Webster, so we get a rather nice image of the 10th Doctor there, Catherine Tate as Donna, and then we of course also have Ivy Clark from the story as well, nicely wielding one of her torches, and then we of course have a few of the ticks that were of course a part of the alien from the actual story itself that was manifesting itself within the smoke. So overall a really lovely cover art, and it does certainly stand out quite a lot, and I do love the contrast of having London in the background and the different greens and reds. Flipping it around to the back, once again pretty much exactly the same design to those previous releases. So as you can see at the very top, once again we do get the Doctor Who logo, and then we have a few credits about the story itself, along with the bio write-up that is of course also available on the Big Finish website. A little bit of company information about Big Finish on the sidebar, running time along with an image of David Tennant, and then it does of course also state that it has been directed by Ken Bentley. Just drawing your attention to this rather small rectangular block also at the back of the vinyl. For those of you that once again have collected the previous releases, you'll of course know that this little rectangle is normally home to the unique identification number. Now this is either normally printed on via a stamp or in fact handwritten on, I do believe in the case of Energy of the Daleks. And for those of you that have watched my previous reviews, you will of course know how much I do like a unique identification number being on limited limited edition products. It just makes it feel a little bit more authentic. And unfortunately, a reoccurring theme for the Creeping Death vinyl is I do believe that all of the releases as a part of the Creeping Death line have in fact not got a unique identification number, and the rectangle has in fact just been left blank, which is a little bit of a shame. No doubt it is something down to time and needing to get this out onto the shelves as quick as possible, so I'm just hoping that the next releases in fact go back to including this as opposed to leaving it absent. Of course, in the middle of the vinyl, as per usual, you do have your standard vinyl sleeve in order to protect the record on the inside. What is a nice touch is we once again have a copy of the actual vinyl cover itself in a clean mode this time with no text, and then we have some writer's notes by Roy Gill at the bottom there as well. And then of course on the very back we do get once again the production credits for this release, along with some Big Finish thanks there at the very bottom as well. And this time round, of course, Big Finish and Demon Music are known for their rather wild and colourful looking vinyl records, and once again they have failed to disappoint this time round, as we do have a rather lovely looking fluorescent green vinyl there, which funny enough, I don't know if this is something that is a sheer coincidence or something that was planned, but it is in fact a rather similar colour to that of the ASDA on the green logo that they have on the text, which is a rather nice, possibly unintentional touch. And then of course in the very middle, Doctor Who Side A, Part 1, The Creeping Death, and then of course normally you do have around half an hour, of course, of running time on either side in order to equal the total running time of the story itself. So overall, for the Doctor Who Big Finish 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 3 Creeping Death vinyl, that is of course limited edition to 1,000 units and is exclusive to select ASDA stores throughout the UK, I think that much like the previous vinyls that have been released in the Big Finish series, once again this is a really lovely product, and if you are a collector like me who generally likes to own physical media as opposed to just having a digital download, then this is a really lovely novelty to add to your collection. And of course if you've got the previous units from the rest of the series as well, then I certainly recommend collecting this one in order to add it to your collection. Of course, if you don't have a record player, then it is a little bit of a more difficult decision, because naturally you cannot play this release. However, it is still a rather nice physical product, so if you are a fan of just simply how it looks, then I would also recommend possibly trying to track one down if you can in fact find it in one of these selected stores, if there is any in your local area. So yeah, overall for the actual product, I think that once again it is a really lovely release. I'm keeping it within this plastic sort of thing to protect it from the elements such as dust. But yeah, I think that generally this product really at the end of the day isn't anything special. If you simply want to listen to the actual story, then you have multiple different ways of doing so. You can get the download, you can buy the limited edition book release, or you can get the standard CD. So really to listen to the story, there's not really too much stress. However, if you are a vinyl collector, then this is a lovely thing to add to your collection and generally have alongside your other Doctor Who vinyls, especially if you've been able to pick up those previous releases. And I think that it's a lovely piece. The cover art itself is gorgeous. It is a little bit of a shame about the limited edition absence of the number at the back, which is something that I was expecting, I must admit. However, it would have been nice if Big Finish could supply a download number. It is something of which that I'm pretty sure that I referenced within my very first review of this series with Energy of the Daleks, because lots of artists, such as in fact the one behind me being Hosier's new album, Wasteland Baby, it does in fact have a little tab within inside it that says download this from, and it gives a little code at the bottom. There is a whole company that pretty much bases itself around digital versions of vinyls, and it would be lovely if Big Finish could do a similar thing, because normally if you buy a CD or a limited edition version from the Big Finish website, you'll automatically get a download on your Big Finish account, and considering that compared to the CD that is priced at £10 and this is £15, you are essentially paying more money for just one singular story. So I think it would be incredibly fair to just have a little leaflet inside that says you can download this from the Big Finish website and have a unique code where people can then log on and actually get this release, because it is a little bit different if people want to buy multiple copies. Like, I will no doubt end up with the limited edition book simply to have all of the stories physically because I am a collector, but you know, it's kind of for those people that only want to have this release, it would be nice to have that digital one as well, much like how other modern day vinyls do of course work. It's something that I would like to see on the future ones. And speaking of future releases, What other stories do I want to see out in the Big Finish range? Now this is in fact something of which that tends to be focusing a lot around the 10th Doctor vinyls recently, which I love. I love the 10th Doctor series. I think it's been great on Big Finish so far. Some stories are better than others, don't get me wrong. However, I just really want to see some classic ones. I think in particular the 8th Doctor and Lucy Miller adventures have a lot of potential if you upgrade the covers, do something modern with them, and do the singular releases, because they are duration-wise around 1 hour long, perfect for the vinyl format, much like the 10th Doctor adventures. And then maybe those episodes have more than one part, such as I think Blood of the Daleks and Human Resources. Maybe do an exclusive to the Big Finish website double LP for that release, and then you can kind of end off the series with that two-parter and have it available to order from there. And I think that that will get more viewers into the 8th Doctor adventures generally. It'll be something that I would love to see, because I've not listened to any of the 8th Doctor and Lucy Miller adventures, believe it or not, even though it's one of the most popular areas of Big Finish. I would love to see that, because it will open up the eyes of other fans that want to get into Big Finish, but also at the same time it will create a bit more variety than just the 10th Doctor, because as lovely it is to collect the vinyls, I want some classic Doctors on the front of them soon, because I love the 4th Doctor ones. I just want some more stories from different areas, and please just give me Jago and Lightfoot Forever on vinyl, or any Jago and Lightfoot story, because that will be lovely also. Or even the last adventure fully on a lovely vinyl in a lovely case, like the Master Plan vinyl. That would be gorgeous. Essentially, any Big Finish release will be far welcome on vinyl. I just want a lot more variety within this series, please. However, focusing a little bit more on the Creeping Death, of course not talking about the actual story or the characters, because I've already done a full review of that, and for those of you that have watched that review, you will know that it is my favourite story out of Volume 3, and it's probably my favourite adventure from the 10th Doctor series as a whole the Big Finish have done so far. Therefore, I am incredibly happy that they've decided to pick this release as opposed to the other two on this current Volume 3, because I just love this episode, I love the setting, I love its balance between historic and sci-fi, so yeah, it is an absolutely brilliant choice, and I think that generally on vinyl it sounds lovely. Of course, hearing David Tennant's voice on vinyl is great, and I love the sound design as well, which does of course apply to each of the stories on Volume 3. I think that Howard Carter did a brilliant job. I think the sound design itself is really atmospheric and effective, and really nicely recreates the actual scene that the characters are within, but also the music is very nice as well. I think that is certainly emphasised a lot on these vinyl releases. So overall, that is really it for this review of the Doctor Who Big Finish vinyl of the 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 3 story, The Creeping Death, as written by Roy Gill, as exclusive to select ASDA stores throughout the UK. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you of course want to check out more story details about the 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 3 or The Creeping Death singly as a story, of course I do recommend checking out my individual episode reviews that have previously been uploaded to this channel. And additionally, if you are in fact a fan of Doctor Who vinyls and would like to hear more about Doctor Who vinyls, then of course the vinyl series is my most recent series on this channel that I have of course started, I do believe about 2 years ago, and so far I think I've covered around 15 vinyls on this channel, varying from Big Finish to other Doctor Who soundtracks, and even to in fact audiobooks of televised stories. So it's been a really fun series so far. I really look forward to covering more vinyls in the future. So thank you very much for watching this review, and of course as always I will see you all for more Doctor Who content absolutely every single week. So thanks for watching, I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.